Hello, I'm Golden Oronte here at the Cohasset Historical Society with a special presentation of Living Histories, a Halloween edition. We are here showing the garb for mourning, which is a Eastwick, Halloween costumes, St. John Briggs, and we have Martha Fisher to show us around at all the presentations, as well as Becky Bates, who will show us the grave rubbings from Central Cemetery. Thank you for watching our show.
This is the section showing the mourning clothing that women wore during the Victorian era. And if they were following Victoria's rules, they would be in mourning for 2 years and in black. And children were generally in mourning for a year. And these outfits are from local Cohasset families, and they're quite striking with their hats and their shawls and of mourning jewelry that would have been made from the hair of the deceased, and it's intricately woven and plaited, and we have bracelets and earrings and pins, and it's just an exquisite collection. The ensemble you see on this lady is from head to toe, and it is just beautiful. The hat, the cloak, and the skirt are just beautiful, and it's a complete outfit. This is a combination of pieces that we've had in the collection. We have a large collection of mourning hats because they were essential to your outfit. And this lady also has lavender on, which is another stage of mourning when you can turn to purple and lavender. And it's later in the mourning period that you can add the lavender and the purple. We have Mordecai Lincoln's plate from his casket. So we have done a fake-up of a casket, and we have this beautiful funeral pall, which would have been used over the casket. And of course, black fan for Milady when she feels faint. And our gentleman on the end is somewhat of a funeral director. And this was a mourning ribbon, which was on the inside of this jacket. And it was probably left over from a service of a funeral service. This wool dress is a brown color, which could have been worn also after the first year of mourning. Shawls and more mourning hats over here, which would have complemented your black mourning outfit. And we just kind of got into some fun things with the Halloween section. We've dressed our little boy in a velvet suit with satin pants, and he's looking quite dashing. And got out the crows and the cauldrons. And this represents what we have from the Witches of Eastwick when they were filmed here. The signs of and everybody tells me about the confusion when people drove into town and said, I'm looking for Cohasset, and I don't see any signs, because they really did flood the town with Eastwick signs.
Hi, I'm here with Becky Bates MacArthur, who is the educator here at the Cohasset Historical Society. She'll be talking to us about the St. John Brig, which sunk off the coast of Cohasset in 1849, as well, 1849? Great. As well as the rubbings from Central Cemetery, and an extra feature is the ghosts of Cohasset. Becky, would you please show us around and tell us about the displays here at the Historical Society?
Okay, fine. Thank you for having me on. All right, first we have an exhibit on the Brig St. John, which was an Irish famine ship full of Irish immigrants that were trying to come to the United States at the end of the famine. On October 6th, they were in Boston or trying to land in Boston, and ended up off of the Grampus Ledge in Cohasset in the middle of a storm, and the ship was basically torn apart, and I think there were 21 people that were survived. This shows a writing desk that the Captain Oliver had that was found on the shore by one of the families in town, and also a trunk that was found after the St. John went down. The accounting of the shipwreck is in Thoreau's book, Cape Cod. He was in Cohasset visiting the minister of the Unitarian Church, and was able to write about the write about the shipwreck. And it's a whole chapter in his book on Cape Cod, if anybody's interested. And we also have some writings from the local newspapers of the time, and one of the women in town, Elizabeth Lothrop, wrote in her diary about the shipwreck, and we also have that here. All right, this part of the exhibit is gravestone rubbings from Central Cemetery that were done a few years ago. They are really neat items to have, and we talk about each of the people and maybe what was on the gravestone rubbing itself. We have a Joseph Neal, born in 1752, and he was in the Revolutionary War during the siege of Boston. We have one on Hannah Burbank, who was born in 1770, and her inscription reads, "Come hither, mortals, cast an eye, then go thy way, prepare to die. Think on thy doom, for die thou must, some day, like me, return to dust." We also have the father and a daughter here with Urian Oakes, who died in 1776, and he was a soldier in the French and Indian War and involved with the Revolutionary War. His headstone is the classic skull and crossbone design, reminiscent of the Puritan view of death, and his stone reads, "Who mourn his loss, suppress ye pious tear, ye wish him out of heaven to wish him here." And we also have one on Vashti Larry, who actually was the daughter of Urian Oakes. She was born in 1767, and her husband was the master mariner in Provincetown. And tradition says that he, Captain Larry, her husband, while watching for whales on Cape Cod, was left on shore with his mate by the crew, who sailed away in a fog. And her tombstone reads, "Unveil thy bosom, faithful tomb, take this new treasure to thy trust, and give these sacred relics room to slumber in the silent dust." We also have information on what was done for funerals and gravestones and some of the early gravestone carvers that were in the area. Okay, these 3 gravestone rubbings are also from Central Cemetery, which is a fascinating cemetery to go and visit. We have Lot Nichols who died in 1812. The Nichols family, there are descendants that still live in town. His estate owned 13 acres of land on Little Harbor in the Meadows. And interestingly, that part of town we still have some controversy over. There's a Thomas Stevenson, and according to his death records, he died in 1775 at the age of 38. We don't have very many records on him, but it's an interesting gravestone rubbing because it shows the angels, and which were part of the great religious revival movement, which offered salvation for all. And we also have a Miss Mary Burr, who with the traditional urn on her gravestone. And her gravestone reads, "My flesh shall slumber in the ground till the last trumpet's joyful sound. Then burst thy chain with sweet surprise, and in my Savior's image rise." So there are 3 more. Okay, this section of the exhibit talks a little bit about the ghosts of Cohasset. One of the first one of the ghosts is the ghost of the town hall. There's a jail at the town hall, and we're not sure if there's a ghost that is there. I know there are various reports about how many ghosts there may be down at the town hall. And we've had there have been paranormals that have come in, and they feel that the town hall is haunted. Another ghost is the ghost at the Maritime Museum. And this is supposedly Captain John Bates, who was the last owner of the Maritime Museum. And he has an office on the 2nd floor of the building. And some people report that they've been there alone, and he has been wandering around upstairs because they can hear his footsteps. So that's one of the second ghost we have in town. The third ghost is the ghost of Minas Light. And the ghost at Minas Light is supposedly one of the keepers that drowned when the first light went down. And he hangs from the ladder at the 2nd lighthouse and tells the sailors in a storm to stay away from the area.
Well, that shows everything that is down at the Historical Society, but we urge you to come down and take a look for yourself. The intricacies are really amazing. We are at 106 South Main Street, and the website is cohassethistorical.org. So, or you can call 383-1434 and get information yourself. As far as the show today is going to be on for how long?
This will be on through November 15th.
And Becky, after our Halloween,
After Halloween, we're going to be wrapping up our 85th anniversary with a cocktail party, I think the first weekend in December, I think December 6th. And all that people will receive invitations to, and you'll hear more about that.
Excellent.
And there will be an exhibit, a Christmas-themed exhibit at the same time.
which again, we urge for anybody who is interested in history, and particularly Cohasset history, to come on down and take a look at what the Historical Society is presenting. Thank you.